So this is going to be for all my authors, or hopeful authors, or writers, or all of those wonderful things. Okay, here we go. All right, so first of all, hello, my name is Megan O'Russell. I write lots of books. I have a booth over on F11, so basically if you walk to, you can see the tattoos and have the perfect people viewing, that's where I am. If you have any questions later, come find me. I have 33 novels across 9 series now. I just released another book last week, so yay. Most of my books have been published indie from the start. I am currently a hybrid publisher. I am hybrid published, sorry. So all of my English books are indie published now. I left my traditional publishers a few years ago, and then my translation rights are with traditional publishers. So I am a hybrid author. So what we're gonna talk about today is you haven't quite finished your book, but you wanna get ready for publishing while you're finishing it. Or you're about to finish your book and you are very confused about what the next step is. Or you're like, I need to do a thing with manuscript help. Like this is where we're at. So don't worry, there is no like you have to be this far in the process for this to help you. Okay, so you haven't finished your book yet. You're still writing, you're still figuring it out. What can you do while you wait? Well, first of all, we can start figuring out what your goals are, because that is going to change a lot of what you do next. So you wrote this book. It was the dream in your heart. You needed to put the story out into the world. Great, perfect. Now, did you write this story because it was in your heart and you needed to get it on paper? Did you write it because it's a family story and you wanted your family and friends to read it? Are you gonna be a hobby author? You just wanna put books out sometimes. Is this professional growth? Let's say you are a speaker on sports fitness. Did you write a sports fitness book to sell at the back of rooms when you do panels? Like, what is it that this book is for you? Deciding what you want to do before you finish the book is a great idea. If you finish the book and still aren't sure, that's fine. But the reason that this matters is it's about what you're gonna, I'm gonna go back so I don't distract you guys, sorry. Boop. It's about what you do with it from there. So if you are just publishing for friends, family, and fun, there are a lot of steps you can skip. There is a lot of dollars you don't need to spend if that is your goal. If you are a hobby author, there is a lot of promo work that you don't need to do. If you're only gonna sell this book at the back of rooms, there's a lot of publishing steps you can skip. So it's about knowing like, what is it that I wanna do with this? And also, there is nothing wrong with finishing writing your book, deciding you got the dream out of your head and editing it isn't worth it, and you just feel happy with what you wrote. It's okay. A lot of people will write a complete story and then be like, now I have to publish it, I have to edit it, I have to. If you're just someone who writes for fun, that's okay. Don't let anyone tell you that that lacks value. You can write your story, feel complete, put it in a drawer, start on the next one, and live your life as happily as you want. That works too. All right, so you've kind of figured out where you want to be in the world. Perfect. Now, if you are publishing with the hopes of dollars, whether it's professional development or hobby, but I'd like some money to like buy myself a couple pairs of shoes a year, or this is going to be my job. What you need to start on. You need to start your social media, but you need to start it as a fan. So let's say I'm gonna do Instagram, because I know the algorithm's best on there. You don't have a book yet, but you know you are writing a romantasy book. Perfect. So you are going to make an author page for yourself. I don't care if you haven't finished your book yet, you're an author. You're gonna put author in your bio. And you're gonna say, in the middle of writing my first book. And you're gonna make sure everybody knows you're writing a book. And while you're writing the book, you're not just gonna share, like, I finished the last chapter and here's my favorite quote from the book. You're gonna share fan things. Like, let's say that you are really into Sarah Moss. You're gonna share Sarah Moss things because she is also a romantasy author. You are going to hashtag them with Sarah Moss, Game of Thrones, so that people who are also her fans will see you online. You will become a part of the romantasy community. You will be followed. You will be known. And then when you start saying, I'm doing this with my own book, they're gonna know you. And they're gonna be like, I wanna know about your book. I've been following you for 6 months. I've been hearing about this book. When's the book coming out? They're gonna be excited. So you are going to be building not only your community in romantasy, you are going to be building hype for your own book at the same time. So never be afraid to start your author page as a fan. Just make sure you put author up there and make sure that you hashtag the big names that you're talking about every time so that their people are finding you, and post consistently and start as a fan. Always start as a fan and let them know where you are in the process. Don't try to do it all. A lot of authors will be like, you have to do book talk at least twice a day, and then you're gonna do Bookstagram, and you're gonna do, and you're gonna do, and you're gonna do. No, you're not. Don't. Stop. Absolutely stop. If you can't do it with joy in your heart, you're not gonna follow through. You're not gonna stick to it. You're not gonna show up consistently, and so you will not build an audience. Me personally, I cannot take a perfect picture. If you want me to like lay out pretty glitter around my book and like put a crown on it, I'm never gonna do it. It's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna post it. It's never gonna look right. So I never did the Bookstagram images. What I do well with short form video content. So that's pretty much all I do is short form video content. And I don't try to do the perfect pictures because it never worked consistently. And let's say you're someone who's like, I am an author, but I shall never put my face on camera. Not once, not ever. Well, if you ever do a panel, your face is gonna end up on camera anyway. I hate to break it to you. They will see you eventually, it happens. You can have a wig and glasses though, I've seen that. But there are plenty of ways to do social media where you don't have to put your face out there. Don't do short form video content. Start a Substack. Start writing really in-depth reviews of books you love. Become the authority on sci-fi. If anyone wants to know what's wrong with this sci-fi and how it deviates from its own world building, they go to your blog. Become that expert. That's okay. Find something that you can do well and consistently and show up. And if anyone tells you to do everything, then make a list of the everything that they're telling you to do. Write it all down like you're gonna do it. And then look at all of them and cross out the half that you're like, I'm not gonna show up. The only thing that is non-negotiable. Wait, is the next slide? It went away. The whole thing went away. There it goes. Your newsletter. You have to have a newsletter, even if you're a hobby author, even if it's just for professional development. You have to start a newsletter. And yes, you want to start a newsletter before you publish your book. I know it seems weird. What you're gonna do is on that, we're gonna stick to Instagram. Not that I'm saying Instagram is best, depending on your genre, Instagram sucks. We're just sticking with that for ease. What you're gonna do is you're gonna have a link on your Instagram bio that shows a little place to go sign up for your newsletter. And every time you talk about your book, you're gonna be like, hey, wanna know more about my book? Sign up for my newsletter and you'll get the first 3 pages and an update every month with where I am. Sign up for my newsletter and I'll show you the character art I found. Oh, I'm writing this book about being in Ireland in the medieval times. Sign up for my newsletter and I'll share my research with you. There are so many things that you can share that are of value before the book comes out. You just have to be a little bit creative, like, let's say you are a romance hockey writer. You are jumping on that wagon. Then put in your bio, every time you talk about your book, sign up for my newsletter and you will get your Hockey Hottie of the Week delivered straight to your inbox. That works too. Say every week you're gonna get a Hockey Hottie from me. Hockey Hottie for the week, complete with a bio for you to drool over. There you go, do that. Give them something of value. And the reason you do this is so that you have a nice list of people, so when you finally publish book 1, you can say, it's out on release day, you send that newsletter, they buy your book, hopefully. But also, because as we have learned with TikTok, social media likes to shut down. So let's say that you have spent the time you were writing your book, building this glorious Instagram community. They all know you, they all love you. Instagram crashes, it goes away forever. All of that work is done. It's gone. You never get those people back. Bye. But if you have been sharing your newsletter on Instagram, those people that signed up for your newsletter, that information is yours. So if you switch to another newsletter carrier, those emails come with you. Facebook shuts down, doesn't matter. You've got an email list. No matter what happens, you are building on your own property that way instead of like building a mansion on some land that you didn't even rent. You're just like hoping nobody catches you. So always start a newsletter. Okay. Offline networking, which is where a lot of people get caught up. You don't have to do offline networking if it's terrifying to you, that's okay. But authors are actually pretty nice people. They really are. I came from the world of musical theater. Someone tried to push me downstairs once because they didn't want me to be their understudy. These things happen, not with authors. Every once in a while you'll find a real jerk, but most of us are nice, and if you find someone who's not nice, move on to the next one, they'll probably be better. But you can join writers groups. They have them probably at your local coffee shop, at the library, your local bookstore. Just ask around. You can join a writers group, preferably a writers group focused on your genre. If you join a writers group that they're all like really literary people and you are writing fantasy, maybe not the best place for you. Try to find people who at least like your genre and don't look down on it, find friends. But writers group, author events. If there's an author event and it's not expensive to go and you don't have money to buy books, but there's like a giant book fair, go to the book fair and talk to the authors. Go to the book fair and get the author's social media if they seem like they really know what they're talking about, and follow them on social media. Just meet people. And regular book events. My favorite, the Miami Book Fair. There's 200,000 people. It's great. But go to book events and just see okay, what is huge? Wow, everybody is doing thriller, and all thriller books have green covers this year. What a thing to know. You can learn so much just by going to the events. Even if you have $0, just go, take a peruse. Wait, I think I skipped one. I'm really good at this. Haha, okay, so you finally finished your book. You have done all the things in the meantime. You have done your networking. You have set up your newsletter. You have picked your social media. You have grown your face as a fan and let them all know that you are an author and that you have a book coming and that they should be really excited for you on the journey. Great. Now, it's time to make the decision, and this is what do you want to do with your book time. So let's say it's for fun family friends. You're not going to do traditional publishing. Probably if it's a developmental book, not traditional publishing. If it's hobby time, not traditional publishing. If you're like, this is my career and my dream and I'm doing it forever, then it's submission time. Yay, you get to either submit to a small press, because most small presses will in fact accept submissions straight from the author, or you can submit to an agent. And it's called querying an agent. And there are lots of information and resources online on querying and submitting to small presses. Here is going to be the Megan O. Russell warning speech. And if any of you run a small press, please know that I am not saying anything about your press or you personally. I'm just giving my own experience. I have shut down 5 small presses. One shut down with the FBI involved. So, if you decide to submit to small presses, do a lot of research and understand that even if you did a lot of research and they are a very stable company that everyone says is beautiful and brilliant and just as good as the big 5, the FBI may still show up. So, do your research, use your caution. There are some amazing small presses out there who are absolutely wonderful to their authors, but just, do more due diligence than everyone else around you thinks you should do, and then understand you could still be wrong and have your heart broken. The nice thing with the large presses and going agent route, a lot less likely for things to get shut down. Probably gonna take 3.5 to 4 years minimum if things go well to see that book published. Because traditional publishing takes forever, querying an agent takes forever, so you just gotta kind of put on your patience pants and keep working on the next book. Not the next book in the series. If you're submitting to a traditional publisher, do not write book 2 in the series. Never. You know what you get out of that? Divergent. She wrote book 2 before book 1 was edited. That's why book 2 does not follow the plot of book 1. Because she did not re-edit book 2 after they changed book 1. So start on a different series. Something else. And then maybe you decide you want to go indie with that series instead, or you submit that somewhere else, whatever it is. But while you're waiting those very long years, you're going to keep writing. And then cry sometimes if you get rejected, celebrate sometimes if you get a full manuscript thing. But just know it is going to take patience. Keep writing, don't get your heart set on book 2, and don't pull a divergent, please. Okay, so if you are going to submit to a small press, oh wait, this is not that slide. This slide isn't there. Also, my other small press warning. Publishing money goes one way and one way only. If you ever submit to a publisher and they try to ask you for dollars for anything, no. Money in publishing only goes to the author. It never ever travels the other way. With the one caveat of, if you have an agent, they should never charge you anything. They only work on commission, but if they are sending out things and they need to do like printing for a promo, your agent's gonna say like, hey, I'm sending out a $150 mailing promo and you owe them for like that office cost. Does that make sense? Other than that, never give them money. If they ask you for money, it's a scam. Run. And preferably tell writers beware, and they will put it up on the website so other people know to avoid it. Okay, so if you're going indie, this is where your money is going to go. I know, it's money out of your own pocket, it's painful. Plus side, I have ways we can minimize all of it. Okay, so your money is going to go into editing, into your book covering, and into formatting. Those are the 3 things that you are going to have to at least do some dollars on unless you have skills you can trade with a friend. So, for editing, you have finished your book. Brilliant, we're so happy. First, you're gonna do self-edits. That means you're gonna go through your manuscript 3 to 20 times. Don't go past 20. If you hit 21, get a professional editor. I've seen some people go through their books like 30 times. At that point, you're just, no, stop, please, stop. That's insanity. You're hurting yourself. So you're gonna do self-edits. One thing that I highly suggest is doing a read aloud round of self-edits, which really means you read the book aloud to yourself or have a very devoted friend read it to you. I make my husband do it every time. Why? Because it's going to make you know if you are missing words, it's gonna make it cleaner. It's also gonna let you know if your dialogue works. Does it feel weird in your mouth when a person talks like that? Does your language fit? Does each of your characters have their own speech pattern? It's gonna be a lot easier to figure that out if you hear it out loud. So try for a read aloud edit if you can. Then we're going to get into the part of edits where we pay. Now, there's a developmental editor. This is your editor that is going to go through and help you build your story. They're going to help you build your characters, find your plot holes, develop your world, be like, wait a second, why are there monks and no religion? That's what developmental editors is gonna do. Once you get through developmental edits, you have your book, it is done. Then you're gonna go to line edits. Line edits are gonna be people like, okay, there are some words in this sentence that are flipped, or the grammar here's wrong, or something like that. They're gonna make sure that everything's pretty. Then you're gonna go into copy edits. And that's gonna be people being like, the period is 1 space off. Then you're gonna go into proof, which is where you read the whole thing as it absolutely should be and cross your fingers and really hope there's nothing wrong with it. Now, before that, if you wanna be spiffy and free, a lot of people will use alpha and beta readers. I do suggest caution, especially with first-time authors, because a lot of people are like, I finished my book, I'm gonna give it to my mom. No offense, mom, don't give your book to your mom. Your mom is supposed to like things you do. Or maybe you don't have a mom who likes things you do, and then she's never gonna like anything you do. Not your mom. My mom likes things I do. But anyway, don't give it to your mom. That's not gonna be a good perspective. You wanna give it to another author friend who hopefully likes your genre, or someone who reads a lot in your genre, or someone who has an English degree that you met at a coffee shop. You want someone who knows something about books but is not so emotionally involved with you they have to tell you something based on past experience. Can be anyone. Then, beta readers. Beta readers are fun because you can get a bunch of them and you send your book out to them and you go, did I do it? Did I write a whole book? And then your first couple times, they're probably gonna be like, sweetie, there are plot holes. And you have to go back and fix it a couple times. So what I would recommend is you finish your first draft, you edit it until your head wants to explode, then you find a nice alpha reader. You send it to your alpha reader who will be like, hey, you said that there was a war and there's no war. So then you write in your war. Then you get your beta readers and you're like, I finished book, read book. And you give it to them and they're like, okay, so the war almost makes sense, but like, where did these foot soldiers come from? And then you fix everything the beta reader says. And then we do dollars. After all of that, since we are starting out, we're not gonna put any money into it yet. Then you're gonna get a developmental editor. Now, I personally don't pay a developmental editor anymore. I don't want anyone with their fingers in my books. No, I don't want that. For the first 12 books, I had a developmental editor and I was very, very grateful. So I highly recommend at this point, if you can only pay one kind of editor, get a developmental editor. Get a developmental editor. Why? Because chances are you know someone in your life who is truly neurotic about grammar and English. And this is where you're gonna use them. Instead of paying for line edits, copy edits, and proofs, if you can't afford that, you're gonna find that neurotic person and you're gonna ask them for help and you're gonna give them that book and be like, can you be my typo hunter? It would be so helpful. And they're gonna go through and they're gonna find all kinds of things wrong. And then you're gonna find another person who is also like that. And you're gonna take that version and you're gonna send it to another person who is also neurotic. And then when you're done with all that, you're gonna be like, hey, bestest best friends. This is when you can get your friends involved who are not readers and authors. Before I press publish on this, with my 10 best friends, please read this book, and if you see something out of place, like a comma, a word, tell me. Look, you just got so many sets of eyes on your book, making sure the grammar and punctuation is right, and you didn't have to pay out the butt. Now, Going for professional editors is always going to be your best choice. To do a developmental editor, a separate line editor, and then a third person to do your copy and proof. Usually copy and proof go together. That's the best case scenario. However, I understand that not everyone has $1,200 to sink into editing their first book. That's what you do when you have income coming in from your books and you're rolling the income from your books back into your book business. But for starting out, just find a developmental editor, and if that is all you can get, that's okay. You can make it work with a good developmental editor and abusing your friends. You can make it work. You can also go to the local college and find someone who is an English major and be like, hey, I've got $200. You want to proof my book? College students need money. They will work for cheap. Works well. Okay, cover art. I know we all have like, this is the cover of my dreams and it's how it speaks to me and how I want my book to be. Unfortunately, that's not gonna work. Unless you are a hobby author or it is for friends and family, in which case, feel free to put whatever you like on your cover. If you want a unicorn, even though it's a business book, please, feel free. If it makes you happy, go for it. If not, if you want to sell books, then you are going to need to know your genre. And unfortunately, the easiest way to do this does involve Amazon. But you don't have to give them money. Just click around a bit. So what you're gonna do is go to your genre and you're gonna click the top 100 page and you're gonna scroll through. Do all the top 100 books in your category have people on them, or is it symbolism? Does everybody kind of have a green shade to it? Is green what says paranormal this year? If you want paranormal, you have to put green on your cover. You have to fit the genre expectations. I know it sucks, and as you become a famous author, you can start deviating because people won't care what's on your cover. You can have whatever in your heart because your name's gonna be enough to sell a book, but when you're first starting out, if you have a paranormal mystery book and it looks like a contemporary romance, you're not gonna sell it. It doesn't matter if you love the cover. So know your genre expectations. Just check through the Amazon top 100. And no, it's not about you, unfortunately, except your author name. Your author name should not be so tiny people can't see it. You are the author. You are important, whether or not you think you're important, whether or not you have imposter syndrome just as bad as me. Your name needs to be legible in thumbnail size on your cover. So if you shrink your cover to thumbnail and they can't read your name on your book, I know it's scary. It's scary to have your name that big on your book, but no, your name has to be legible in thumbnail on your book title. Now, if you are on a budget, there are options for covers. There are budget cover options. Now, this can go from, I have a really good college near me that has graphic design art majors and a book cover program, and I can pay this college student to do it for me. That works. Using students is a great way to help them and you, especially when you're starting out, because you can always upload a new cover later when you can afford something fancy. That's totally fine. There are also Fiverr. There are some really good cover artists on Fiverr. Now, would I necessarily say that that is the best choice? Because there can be some, if you sell more than 1,000 books, then like this license, blah, 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 blah. But if you're starting out and all you can afford is a $25 cover from Fiverr, it's better than trying to smack something together yourself, because at least they understand how fonts work. So scroll through Fiverr, and if that's what you can get, then as soon as you make a couple $100s on your book, get a new cover. I'm all about starting with what you can afford rather than saving up thousands and thousands of dollars or going into debt. We're doing this. We're gonna make these books published no matter what it takes. You can also look at pre-made covers. A lot of artists, really amazing cover artists, will, between their custom designs, do covers just for funsies or because they're practicing. So if you go to the cover artist website, sometimes you'll find a pre-made link. Now you can search through the pre-made covers. If something speaks to you, great. Now with a pre-made cover, you're only gonna get to change the title of the book and put on your author name, but you know what? You can get them from like $1,000 artists for 150 bucks, or from $400 artists for $90. So and they are just as high quality. It is the same artist, the same work. It is just not specialized for you. So that can be a way to start too. I do custom covers. I use the two at the bottom are mine that I use. I use Mibble Art and Sleepy Fox Studios. So I have some illustrated ones. I have ones that are photo-based. I have ones that are vector designs. All of those are gonna be custom. Custom covers are gonna run you about $450 to $1,200. for a standard custom cover, which is why I gave you those other options first so that you didn't panic. If you don't have that money, there are other options that are good. But when you start making money, then you can start doing custom covers with the dollars that you have. Now, if you just want to blow some cash for funsies, you can pay $6,000 for a cover. For a fully custom drawn, custom fonted, custom everything cover, you can pay thousands of dollars if that's what you want to do. So a lot of those like beautiful, beautiful hand-drawn covers that you see on the traditionally published books, those are like $7,000. So that is not something that you will find most indie authors doing, unless it's like a Kickstarter special edition. You won't see those super fancy covers. But if for some reason you're like, I am a millionaire and I just really want to spend all my money, you can. You can go as expensive as you want. So that is there. And then again, Nibble Art and Sleepy Fox are two that I really recommend. Both of them also have pre-made options on their websites. Sleepy Fox especially, she has interns and apprentices. So her intern and apprentice covers are like 40 or 50 bucks because they are the learners. They're great covers, she supervises them, but they're a lot cheaper because they're her apprentices. So those are options as well for the budgets. Okay, formatting. If it's your very first book and you have an author friend who loves you, my best recommendation is buy them a bottle of really nice liquor and ask them to do it for you. Because chances are they have a program that does it and they can do it for you in about 45 minutes to an hour. So if you have a program like Vellum, it's a drag and drop. You literally have to drag it out of Microsoft Word, drop it into Vellum. It already has your chapters for you. You make some basic choices, you export. Which is why I say if it's your first book and you don't know if you're continuing with it, buy a good bottle of liquor, not the program. It is a one-time purchase though. I think it's like $250, so it's not that bad. It's not completely unaffordable, but again, if it's your first one, you're not sure if you're continuing, see if you can find a friend with Vellum. Finding a friend always works. Adobe InDesign is a subscription program. So if you're like, I'm gonna subscribe to this for 1 month, cool, you can subscribe to it for 1 month, format your book, not subscribe. It is harder to use. So if you are not a computer person or a formatting person or like spending a lot of time on the computer makes you cry, Adobe InDesign is not for you. Don't do it. Adobe InDesign is not the option. Atticus is a multi-tool that is a one-time purchase. What that means is you can write in Atticus, you can keep your writing notes in Atticus, and you can also format your book in Atticus. I have never used Atticus. I have friends who love it, but I don't know anything about it other than it is a multi-tool that costs a little bit more than Vellum, but you can do more with it. I personally love Vellum because it is the absolute easiest, has saved my marriage many times because it just drag and drop, it's easy. So I recommend Vellum, but again, if you're not sure, phone a friend, always an option. Okay, it's publishing time, you did it. You have it, you're all the way to formatting, great. Right, back, I'm great with this, okay. I am a big advocate for publishing wide. Publishing wide means not just publishing on Amazon or going direct to Amazon, Kindle Unlimited, which means that Amazon is the only place you can sell your ebook, which also means that if Amazon decides to cancel your account for some reason, which they do all the time, they just shut them off, your entire audience is gone. Everything is gone. You cannot get that account back and you cannot publish on that platform under that name again. It happens rarely, but it does happen. Now, if you are in something like steamy romance, monster steamy romance, something like that where there is the potential to make a buttload of money on KU very quickly, then by all means try it. Buy a boat, please invite me aboard. I love that for you. If you're not in a genre that's really hot on Kindle Unlimited, my sincere advice is to not do Kindle Unlimited because you are cutting yourself off from libraries, from lots of stores, from lots of readers, and you are making yourself dependent on Amazon. And do you want all your eggs in that basket? So that's my recommendation. So if you publish wide, you have access to a lot more readers. You have access to a lot more countries because Amazon is not actually available all over the world. You have access to a lot more stores, and you have the ability for ebook library placement. So if you are in Kindle Unlimited, it gets a lot harder to get your ebook into libraries. So, all things to consider. Again, if you are writing monster romance that is very steamy with a lot of tentacles, Kindle Unlimited could be your big ticket. I'm not saying don't do it if it's a big genre. I'm just saying if it's not like, yes, this is bank, don't do it. Okay. Platform basics. So you've decided that you are going to be a hobby/career author. You want to publish wide. You have your book ready. It has a cover. It has been formatted. Yes, we go. Draft to Digital is an aggregator. What publishing aggregators are, it's one platform, you upload your book to that platform, and then that platform sends the book out to all the little storefronts, like little elves. They do it all for you. It's great. It's actually a really easy platform, super easy to use. They also have nice customer service. This downside is that they charge you a 10% fee of the retail price for hosting the book. So then the seller takes the fee, they take their 10%, then you get the rest. Now, if you're just starting out and you're like, the rest is too overwhelming for me, my genuine recommendation, go to Draft to Digital, just put your book there. Congratulations, you did it. Now we can do other steps later. That is just fine, starting out with just Draft to Digital. That 10% is not gonna kill you starting off. That is just fine. They also, oh yes, extra resources. They have the Self-Publishing Insider podcast. It is a lovely podcast. They're very cheerful, good information. They have ebook distribution to over 200 countries. They do library ebook distribution. They also have in-house promotions you can become a part of. It's a great program. You can also use Publish Drive. They are in 100 countries, but they are in more stores. They do have a subscription program and a royalty share program, so it's a little bit more confusing about which one you want to do. Read the terms and conditions very carefully. It is a great platform as well, super easy to use, but I hesitate to recommend it because depending on which one you choose, you could end up giving them a lot more money than you mean to, depending on how you decide to do it. So just make sure you read the terms and conditions really carefully on Publish Drive. But they are a great company and they are very nice. But those are the two publishing aggregators. So if you're like, I need a one-stop shop, I'm gonna put my ebook up on here, and then that's it. So then, let's say that's the decision you made. Congratulations, you have your ebook, it has been formatted, it is in your hands. You sign up for a Draft to Digital account. It's your email address and a password. Then you have an account, congratulations, you're an author with them. You're gonna upload your cover. You're gonna upload that file of your book that you got from the formatting. And then it's gonna ask you some basic questions, and then you click publish. First time, it's probably gonna take you about an hour because you're gonna have to look up what some things are. Now for me, it takes me about 15 minutes to publish a book on Draft to Digital. So it is not overwhelmingly complicated. The biggest thing is knowing like what categories your book sits in advance. So like I am a fantasy, romance, elemental magic. Like, okay, these are my things. But other than filling that out, it's super easy. So don't get overwhelmed by Draft to Digital. You can just do ebook there. What I do, because I don't like giving away my 10% on the bigger platforms. Wait, is this the next one? Oh, there's a different slide in between. Sorry, I shoved it. So, is it worth the effort to go to the different platforms individually? Depends on how much money you're making. Because you can save the 10%, which can add up if you are starting to do this as a career. That 10% is a lot at the end of the year. And you also have greater access to promotional opportunities. So Kobo, which is huge in Canada and Germany, Barnes & Noble, Google Play, all have promos that you can only access if you take your book directly to their in-house ebook platform, which means that you open an account at author.kobo.com and you enter your name and you create a password and then you upload the cover and the book and you pick the keywords. It's the same exact process, you're just repeating it. It's not that bad. So it depends on what you want with that. I'm great at this. Okay, Apple Books. I love going to Apple Books because there are no aggregator fees, and for my genres, Apple Books is one of my bigger things, so I'm not paying my 10% on it. Apple Book allows you to put other authors' names as comps in your book title, in fact, in your book blurb. In fact, they prefer it. Apple would prefer me to say for my How I Magically Messed Up My Life in 4 Freaking Days, they would prefer me to say perfect for fans of Harry Potter and Percy Jackson, who aren't transphobic, rather than look at this boy wizard of Manhattan. They want the comps, they want the titles, they want it to be perfect for Sarah Moss and Lee Bardugo fans, because that's what they find easiest to do for them. Other platforms will kick your book off for trying that. So if you go straight to Apple and you upload your book to them, you can customize your blurb for their platform, do the things they let you do, huzzah, more dollars. They do also have access to unique in-house promos. It'll take you a few books to qualify for those. Once you get a couple books uploaded, email and be like, I want to be on your promos, and you get it. But they're gonna make you have a couple books up first. The cons for Apple Books, you must supply a street address because they have to be able to find you in case your books are illegal in the United Kingdom. If you go through Draft to Digital, it ends up being Draft to Digital's address. If you go direct, it's either your home address, or you can choose one of those. It's not a P.O. Box service, it's a P.O. Box service that looks like it's a real address, but it's not a real address. You can do one of those. But it is weird. It's not because Apple wants it, it's because there's a weird law in the UK. I don't know. Google Play. I love Google Play because it has access to a promotions tab. It's a lovely promotions tab. You can discount your book. You can put free temporarily in the title. You can show it as 50% off, 70% off. You can do all kinds of beautiful things. You can also create search-friendly subtitles. So you can say a fantasy romance adventure. You can't do that on the other platforms. They'd be so mad at you because it doesn't look pretty. It has to look pretty, but Google doesn't care about looking pretty. They only care about the search engine. It is all done by computer. They don't care what it looks like as long as there are keywords. You can also upload your audiobooks directly to Google Play, which is where I make most of my audiobook money. People on Google Play surprisingly love audiobooks. Who's to say? Okay, Barnes & Noble is another one that I love. Why? They have a sneaky promo tab. This is one you have to ask. If you want a promo tab at Barnes & Noble, you have to email and say, hello, I would like a promo tab. May I please have a promo tab? They may or may not give it to you, but chances are you will not have one when you first sign up. You have to ask for it. And mostly that's because they want to make sure that people who aren't serious about writing aren't signing up for them. So if it's like, I put out a book and I never want to write again, they don't want you in their promos. They only want authors who are going to show up and do it consistently and always be there. So you have to say like, no, I'm an author, I'm doing this for real, I want a promo tab. And you can probably get one, but you're gonna have to ask for it. Barnes & Noble does not do categories like other people. They have like cowboy fireman romance as a category. Nowhere else in the world has that category. So if you want to get into cowboy fireman romance, you have to go directly to Barnes & Noble because there is no Draft to Digital equivalent that can get you into that category. So if you have a weird Barnes & Noble category you want to get in, you gotta go straight to Barnes & Noble. You can also directly upload your paperbacks as well. Here's a fun story for you. If you upload your paperbacks directly to Barnes & Noble through press.barnesandnoble.com, which is a great idea because then, you get more dollars out of it. Those books will not actually be the books that are sold in Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble will only sell books through Ingram Spark and Barnes & Noble. Press.barnesandnoble.com books only get sold through the digital branch of it. So if you only have your book through press.barnesandnoble.com as a paperback, you can never, in fact, do an signing inside a Barnes & Noble because they cannot get your books. You have to have your books through Ingram. If your books are through Ingram, then Barnes & Noble can have them. If your books are through Barnes & Noble can't have them. Yes, Barnes & Noble knows this is weird. Yes, press.barnesandnoble.com is pissed about it. No, it hasn't been fixed. So just so you know, if you've only uploaded your paperback directly onto Barnes & Noble and you go in and they say, your book doesn't exist, that's why. It's a great system. We love it. Kobo. I love Kobo. They're awesome. They're also really nice people. There's a sneaky promo tab. Yes, you will have to request it. There are some promos that are only available for books directly to the platform. So there are, and they're free too. So this is great if you're starting off and you're like, I don't have promo money. They're gonna have like a March Fantasy Month where you can register your fantasy book for the promo and it's free. They're gonna have a first in series for indie author promo and you can register your book and it's free. So that is a great way to start doing promo when you don't have promo money. If it's a free promo and it's not gonna take you a lot of time to sign up for it, do it. It's a great idea. You can also upload your audiobooks directly as well. Bonus resource, the Kobo Writing Life podcast is great. They have a lot of authors on there. It is not just about publishing on Kobo, it is about writing in general with like, every once in a while they'll do a Kobo update, but it's not just about their platform. They're great. Amazon, you kind of, unless you're like, I will never publish on Amazon, you probably should publish on Amazon. Pros, it is the largest online book retailer. There is a lot of research on how to sell books on Amazon. There are K-Lytics, there's Publisher Rocket, there are entire groups just dedicated to selling on Amazon. The problem is a lot of those groups are going to be focused solely on Kindle Unlimited authors. So if you are not just on Amazon, be careful whose advice you're taking when it comes to promo. Because if they're only on Amazon, Find someone who is published wide instead, because chances are they are doing things with the Amazon algorithm that you can't copy. So when you're doing promo advice, find someone who is publishing like you in your genre and double check with them. But there is a lot of research. The cons is you are at the whims of the Zon. They can decide that they are cutting Kindle Unlimited payments by half. They're just paying half of what they used to for a page read, and there's nothing you can do about it. They can kick you off the platform, and there's nothing they can do about it. They can decide that you copied someone else's book and say that you're doing copyright infringement and cancel you and kick you out, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can get a lawyer. I've seen one person get a lawyer and get all the way back through, but it cost her a lot of money, and she's a big author, so it was worth it. But for the little guy, if they cancel you, it's gone, and if that's all you've ever had, there goes all of it. So that's the Amazon thing. How are we doing on time? Oh great, we're doing perfect. So a couple things. These are the sneaky promo tabs. If you are going directly here, and you want a Google Play promo tab, if you don't see it right there, it means you need to talk to Google Play. You're missing something. If you are on Barnes & Noble and you do not see this tab, it means you need to contact them. You are missing something. You are not signed up to be able to do their promotions. If you are on Kobo and you are signed up and you do not see this tab, it means that you are missing something. You are not signed up and eligible for their promotions. So you want to make sure that you can see those and then use them. If you don't have them, email. If they're like, you don't have enough books yet, then say, okay, what is like the thing that you want me to have? And then contact them again when you're ready. But just know that those exist and you should have them, and if you don't, try to get them. Non-Zon paperback options. Ingram Spark does library distribution. If you want to get into libraries, Ingram Spark is your best bet. That is also indie bookstore availability. If you want to sell at your local indie bookstore, Ingram Spark is going to be the copies that they're trying to get. That's also if you want to sell inside Barnes & Noble, that is those copies as well. Watch out for fees with Ingram Spark. They switch them all the time. No one knows what the reasoning is. Used to be, it was $50 to upload a book, but then you could change it as much as you want. Now it's free to upload a book, but it's $35 to change the book and update it, but you can do it once free every 6 months, maybe depending on what kind of account you have. I would love to say that there's another option that can replace Ingram Spark because their customer service sucks and it's complicated, but there isn't. Sorry, you're doomed. You have to use Ingram Spark. We can all cross our fingers and hope for something better for tomorrow, but Ingram Spark is it for now. So yeah, watch out for fees, know what you're getting into, understand that they will shut off their phone lines and unplug them if they get overwhelmed. They did that for 3 months once, but unfortunately they can get away with it because they're the only people we can use. So just smile and let it happen. Okay. Selling on your online store and in person. BookFunnel is your best friend. Probably don't need this for a long time, but just write down BookFunnel and then be like, oh, I'm published. BookFunnel. There are so many authors who don't know what BookFunnel is, and they are screwing themselves out of money every day. You should know BookFunnel, love BookFunnel, adore BookFunnel. This is going to be how you distribute your ebooks and audiobooks. This is also going to be how you put out, you know, that nice little, I have 3 pages of my book I want you to read. That's how you're going to put out that as well. When you do ARC team, when you do your advanced reading copy team before you put out your book, you're going to use BookFunnel. When you're sending books out to like lots and lots of beta readers, you're probably going to want to use BookFunnel because it is the easiest way to send a book file. You upload it, then you send the link, and BookFunnel's like, I would like to give you this book. And if they can't get it for some reason, BookFunnel has their own customer service that will handle all technology issues for you. BookFunnel, and it is like $5 for like the cheap accounts. It is super, there's free versions if you're not doing anything, and then it starts as like $5. It's super cheap. They're wonderful. BookFunnel. Resources I love. Well, me. Page by Page, Writing the Book in Real Time is my podcast. It is part of the Laurel Dale series, which is a paranormal mystery series like Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets Pretty Little Liars. Every week I write a new chapter in the Laurel Dale universe. It goes out in full audiobook style on the podcast, along with extra world building and publishing info and like all kinds of fun stuff. So that is my way of distributing other information about it. So the Page by Page podcast. Joanna Penn, the Creative Pen podcast. She is a goddess. She is the goddess of all indie things. If we had to nominate an indie prom queen, she wins every time. Like, she rides on a cloud. We love her. She has the Creative Pen podcast. It's amazing. She has a cheerful British accent, so she can say the most dire things, but it sounds nice. AI could be taking over the publishing industry every day, but that's all right. Like, it's great. I love her. She also has a series of books. They're like 60 to 80 pages. They're cheap for the ebooks, and it's things like Kickstarter for authors, self-editing for authors. And it is just that topic, 60 pages of like, okay, so this is exactly what a self-editing process should look like. Here are the steps. There's one that's like uploading your first indie ebook. Goes through all the steps. So if you're like, I need someone to hold my hand through this moment, Joanna Penn will be there. She will hold your hand in a cheerful little British accent, and I love her. Also, another thing that I like to do, and please don't ever feel bad sending me questions over social media, just don't try to send them on Facebook, because for some reason I can't open those messages. But if you have a question about writing, publishing, anything like that, you can always send it to me on social media. It helps me plan my content schedule. I don't have to come up with ideas, so please don't feel bad sending me things. It helps me quite a bit. So if you have a question, please send it to me. I will make a video, and then I will message you back with a link to the video. So if you're like, I don't understand how to get a Google account started, message me. I will make a video of how to get a Google account started, and I will send you the link to the video when it is up. And look at me, I didn't have to plan my video for today. So thank you, it helps me, helps you, and then the information's out there, because chances are other people have the question. So always ask. This is, that's the one that goes with the podcast, and that is the QR code that will lead you to that, and it will also lead you to my site. Now, I know that we went through that's a lot of information. I just info dumped on you for 45 minutes straight. With that in mind, and knowing that you might be bleeding out your ears, does anyone have any questions? Yes? So that negative Russell.com, is that where this video is going to be on? This video? This is not videoed. What I can do is you can, well, he's videoing, so you could ask him. It's not, his video is not for me though, that's for him. But you can, I do have the slideshow available. If you stop by my booth, I can email you a copy of the slideshow. You can also, any questions, you can find me on social media. But there is not a copy of this particular going up because I didn't think to bring a ring light for myself. Anything else? Yes, sir. Okay, you doomed yourself. Like, I don't want to be poo-poo. I have a mic, so I have to be careful. I don't want to be a poo-poo. But once a book has been published, it is tainted. It is tarnished. It is not new. So unless it goes huge, it's probably not going to get picked up even by a small press because they can't say new release. They can't put their own thing on it. So that's probably not going to happen. Your option would be, if you're really set on doing this, get famous, or more realistically, write a sister series. Write a sister series that is in the same world, has the same characters, something like that. Write book one in that series. Submit book one in that series. Beautifully, perfectly. Get that picked up. Once that sister series is picked up, so there is a new property to go with it in that world with those characters, then say BT Dubs, I have these 4 books that are all ready. Did you want to see those? Because then there is a new product that they can market as a new release, but they can say, and here's this package of other books. So then there's a reason for it. You have to create a reason and newness that they would want it. Does that make sense? Or you could go with a teeny tiny press, but FBI. It's always a chance. But I would say write a sister book, then submit the sister book. So keep the series in for now, plow ahead, write the sister series, make that your series that is going traditional. Once that is traditional, convert. Oh, there was one right there, yes?
Are you seeing any of the effects of AI in publishing right now?
So yes, most of it is slop and trash. It does not affect book sales at all. If you're on Kindle Unlimited, AI slop is taking over. Because it's honestly, people read those books so fast, they don't actually absorb a lot sometimes, so that is one of the places where you can get away with AI. Because it's people who are reading 3 or 4 books a day. So those are the people who, if you could get away with it, you're gonna get away with it. For those of us who are not in those genres, you really don't see a lot of it that is taking sales. The biggest problem is that, it's not a problem, it's a great thing. Platforms are becoming very aggressive on making sure that AI does not get through. So they have unfortunately started pulling some books that are not AI. So Barnes & Noble purged about 5,000 titles that were not AI. And so then those authors weren't informed either because it was assumed that they were AI, so they didn't know their books were down. So that has been the biggest thing, is like being an author and knowing like, okay, I need to go in Barnes & Noble, check every single one of my titles, make sure I didn't get purged. Okay, Kobo has a new box I have to make sure I tick swearing that there's no AI and I have 30 days to tick this box or I get pulled. So mostly it's keeping up and making sure that whatever new, like I swear I didn't do it policy there is, you are signed up for all of it. But it doesn't really affect sales. Cover artists are getting a little screwed, but the authors themselves are. Yes?
What if I submit my book to multiple companies? Like I have the money, I'll just submit it to like 5 companies.
Well, wait, what money do you need for submissions? Why are you paying money to submit?
Oh no, I mean like I'm able to like. What if I can?
Oh, you want to submit to lots of companies.
Yeah.
First of all, if anyone says, pay me and I'll submit to you, and it's anything but a very, very reputable contest that you know is good and will positively affect your career, don't do it. Don't give them money. If they ask you money to submit, no. That's a scam. No. So what you can do is some places will say, we will only take, you have to just submit to us. If you are submitting to multiple agents or multiple small presses, then you do have to say like, this is a simultaneous submission. So you either say like, this is a sole submission, I'm just giving it to you, or this is a simultaneous submission. They will usually say if they will accept it or not. But the problem with just submitting to one place is they often won't tell you when they reject you. And it'll be like, you have to give us your book for 18 months to decide. So you're gonna give them 18 months and probably never hear back and just like sit on your hands. Well, not sit on your hands. Use your hands to very diligently type the next book. So it's like, do you want to do that waiting process? I stopped. I said bye. But yes, any other questions? I think we have I think we're technically done, but no one's come to kick me out. So does anyone have another question? Okay, once again, I think my booth number is F11, I could be wrong, but go all the way to the wall where you can see the tattoos, where there's wonderful people viewing. I am in the row facing the tattoos. So if you have any questions, then please do swing by the booth. I am happy to answer. If you have questions more about formatting technology or selling directly on your site or setting up an author newsletter and the details of it, swing by because my husband's the one who takes care of those things and he's there, so you can talk to him about it. But yes, and two, please feel free to message me on social media if you have any questions. And yeah, thanks for coming.